What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Golisopod Garbodor deck that Mark Lutz used to win the Bremen Regional Championships over in Germany this past weekend. Huge congrats, first off, to Mark on his finish. That is incredible. Really cool to win like the first big regionals of the year, and in the new format at least. And I will say Mark does have his own YouTube channel. He did do a video about the deck. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. You guys should definitely go check that out. Subscribe to Mark, all that good stuff down in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in and take a look, starting off here with Golisopod-GX, the 210 HP Grass-type Stage 1 Pokemon with the attack First Impression, 30 damage plus if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn. This attack does 90 more damage. So this is really kind of the attack that this deck is built around, being able to use First Impression continuously and just hitting for 120 damage for just one single energy, using cards like Acerola and Guzma to make sure that we can switch our Glissopods back and forth and continue to put out that pressure. We also have Armor Press here, 100 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. Definitely really solid. And then we have Crossing Cut GX, 150 damage. Switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. With a Choice Band, that's enough to take one-hit knockouts on anything with 180 HP or less, which can definitely be very useful. We are playing a 3-3 evolution line of Golisopod there. We've also got one copy of the Tapu Koko promo. Flying Flip is a really good attack to help us soften up some Pokemon to take some knockouts. And then also, just the free retreat that this Pokemon brings to the deck is really strong. It's obviously the best starter that we have in the deck, but being able to just Guzma into Tapu Koko so that we can free retreat back into whatever we want is super strong. Can't be underrated at all. We've also got 3 copies of Tapu Lele-GX with that Wonder Tag ability, letting us go grab a supporter card when we play it onto our bench. We've also got Energy Drive, 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. Definitely could find ourselves using that at some point in this video. And then we also have Tapu Cure GX, an attack we could potentially use since we do play the Rainbow Energies. Heal all damage from 2 of your benched Pokemon. So if we have 2 really heavily damaged Glissopods, or even just one maybe heavily damaged Golisopod, we can potentially use Tapu Cure to heal all of that off. We do have to be careful. We do have multiple GX attacks in the deck, so you can only use 1 per game, something that we have to keep in mind. We do have the 3-2-1 evolution line of Garbodor here. 2 copies of the Garbotoxin Garbodor, where if we have a Pokemon tool attached, there are no abilities in play except for Garbotoxin. So shutting off things like Geotech System on Metagross, Strong Charge from Vikavolt, shutting off Secret Spring from Gardevoir. All these things are very important. And getting that turn 2 Garbodor can be just detrimental to some decks, potentially. So Garbodor is very strong. And then, of course, 1 copy of Trashalanche Garbodor. Not as strong as an attacker as it once was, but just having it in the deck forces your opponent to limit their item usage. And by doing that, you might kind of limit some of the options that they might be trying to go for. So Trashalanche, even just having it in the deck can be make your opponent play differently. And then kind of the interesting thing about Mark's list that we haven't seen in many Glissopods previously is the one Tapu Fini-GX, and this is here for that Tapu Storm GX attack. Shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. If your opponent has no benched Pokemon, this attack does nothing. So this is really great against things like Gardevoir, where they can just load a bunch of energy up onto one single Pokemon and just start swinging and taking big knockouts. Tapu Storm GX really kind of puts a stop to that strategy. If they put a bunch of energies on a Gardevoir, we just Tapu Storm, shuffle that thing into their deck. Maybe we have Garbotoxin up, and then it's just really hard for them to recover from that. We also have Aqua Ring and Hydro Shot. We could use both of these attacks. If we go up against Volcanion, we'll definitely need to use Tapu Fini if we want to try to win. But that goes without saying that Volcanion is just a really tough matchup for the deck. Our main attacker is weak to fire, and you know, we do have Trashalanche, but they normally can limit their item usage. It's just a really tough matchup. Hopefully we can dodge some Volcanions today, but if we go up against them, we'll do our best to win those games if we can. Let's go ahead and expand it, take a look at the rest of the deck. We do have 2 copies of Field Blower here, letting us remove tools or stadiums in play. Really great when combined with Trashalanche to just do more damage. We've got one copy of Heavy Ball, going to let us go search out any of our Wimpods, Golisopods, or any of our Garbodors. One copy of Rescue Stretcher. Great to get back some Golisopods later on. Great to get back Tapu Koko. Can really use it well to get back the... that's weird, to just skip that. We can use it to get back Trashalanche since we do only have the one. And it's good to get back Tapu Lele potentially later on in the game if we've had a Lele go down, or if we've discarded one, we can get it back to find a supporter. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, going to let us grab any Pokemon out of our deck. 3 copies of Acerola, helping us reset those Golisopods every single turn if we can. 1 copy of Brigette, really great setting up, obviously the best supporter on the first turn of the game. 4 copies of Guzma, just letting us make sure we can continually get that switching option, continually get that extra first impression damage. And then to round things out, we do have 4 copies of Professor Sycamore and 4 copies of N. I just said that backwards. This is Sycamore and this is N. So 4 copies of each of those, pretty standard stuff. We do have 8 tools in the deck, 4 copies of Choice Band, letting us boost the damage we can do with First Impression. Really great on Trashalanche, great on Tapu Fini. You know, we can use Aqua Ring to do 100 damage to a Volcanium, which is really great in that matchup. And then 4 Float Stones to make sure we have all of these switching options available to us. Rounding things out here with the energy, we do have 4 double Colorless energy, lets us power up Armor Press, lets us Flying Flip, we can use Aqua Ring with it, lets us power up Energy Drive. And then we also have 4 Rainbow Energies, great to let us get damage on the field so we can Acerola, and then also lets us have all these different types with Water and Psychic and all that stuff. And then to finish things off, we do have 3 Grass Energies to round the energies out. So there is the deck, guys. Once again, huge congrats to Mark. Can't stress that enough. Winning the first regionals in a new format is really, really cool. So definitely check out Mark's channel down in the description. So let's go ahead, grab a video, or grab a game for the video. Looks like we might be going up against Metagross here with that Metal typing. Metal, Psychic, Water, and Lightning. The Water is most likely Vulpix. The Psychic is probably Lele, maybe Necrozma. I'm not sure what the Lightning is. Maybe they're playing a Tapu Koko just to get some spread damage off. I could see that. But it looks like they're going to choose who goes first, and they will elect to go first. Looks like we will take at least 1 mulligan. Our opponent appears to have found a basic, and we'll see what we're going up against. It could also be something like Ninetales with a Jirachi promo. I could see that. Looks like we just did take... Oh, we took 2 mulligans. Okay. I still kind of have a hard time getting used to how they do the new mulligan system. So we'll start the Trubbish, and let's see what my opponent is using here. They're going to select their other Pokemon, and it looks like it was indeed just the Jirachi promo. So maybe this will be Ninetales. We just see a Kikui right off the bat, so really not too much going for my opponent. A Water Energy and a Tapu Koko hitting the bench and just a pass, so I think we will be okay just going for like a Ultra Ball, getting rid of Guzma, and I really don't want to get rid of a Guzma and an Acerola. I don't really want to get rid of an N. I think we definitely get rid of the Guzma. I don't want to get rid of either of these. Garbodor we can just use later on in the game with Rescue Stretcher. So maybe we just get rid of this, honestly. Because we really do kind of want Trashalanche here in this matchup. If he does get a DCE, this is opening us up to a big Flying Flip, but he's going to really want to try to find a Vulpix to beacon this turn. I'm assuming at this point that this is going to be Ninetales most likely. So I think we'll get rid of the Trashalanche. It might seem weird, but we do have Rescue Stretcher to get it back, and just that he's seen it, he'll have to play around it. I think having Acerola will be too important, and since we did prize one, I think that was a good decision. So we'll just go Lele for Brigette, go grab a Koko and 2 Wimpods here. So let's go ahead and Lele, Brigette, and if we top deck something like a Grass Energy or maybe even a Rainbow, we could next turn just Acerola and knock out a Koko if he does go in with that. So we'll get rid, or we'll get down 2 Wimpods and a Tapu Koko, and then we're just going to pass on to my opponent's turn and see what they can make happen. See if they're able to draw anything else. Looks like they got an Ultra Ball, so they can go for something like an N or a Sycamore with a Tapu Lele. I see them getting rid of an Acerola and a Alolan Ninetales. And what did they get there? Oops, don't want to concede. Probably just the Vulpix, I assume. Yes, they got a Vulpix. It looks like they're just going to Stardust, actually, as opposed to going for Beacon. No luck on the... I'm really confused by that. Why didn't they go for like a Lele or at least Retreat and Beacon? Really confused by that. But we will just go ahead and end. We get Float Stone, no energy, however. We do get Garbotoxin. So I think we'll just go Float Stone, Garbodor, Retreat into the Tapu Koko, who is resistant to metal, so Stardust will do 0 damage. We'll go ahead and get the other Golisopod down, and we'll just pass on to my opponent's turn. So we see another Vulpix comes down. Field Blower is going to get rid of the Float Stone. We do have a replacement one, however, but if he gets a Lele, that'll let them get a Supporter or something this turn. So gets rid of a Kukui and a Brooklet Hill. We're going to see a Lele, probably going to grab either a Sycamore or an N, most likely, unless they have a different draw supporter in their hand. Choice Band is going to go onto the Vulpix. And he is just going to Sycamore. Okay, so we can try to knock out Jirachi next turn. Oh, they're actually going to go into Vulpix. We see an Aqua Patch. I guess that makes sense to just get another energy in play. Doing that is better than just discarding the Aqua Patch. The Stardust Jirachi is a little annoying, though, not going to lie. And we could just see an Ice Blade try to soften something up. Gonna go after a Golisopod. Just softening us up, that does make sense. We can, we'll go ahead and just Field Blower first, so that's less clicking, and then we'll go ahead and attach the Float Stone and just Sycamore. We do find a Grass Energy, which is great, so that we don't have to use a Rainbow Energy, so we could get Stardusted. This does open up Ice Path plays, Lysander Ice Path, or Guzma Ice Path the Garbodor. So, yeah, I think we won't attach the Choice Bands. And we'll just retreat and go for the First Impression. If we use the Choice Band, that means that he could Guzma Ice Path either the Lele or the Golisopod, and Ice Path onto those, and then that means that a Tapu Koko Flying Flip or a Stardust Jirachi later on would be able to finish those things off. But we just see an Acerola from my opponent resetting that damage. I'm gonna bring up the Tapu Koko, and we could just see them re-evolve and just continue the cycle. They're gonna just retreat and probably just Ice Path, or Ice Blade, excuse me, onto the Golisopod again. They're gonna just hit the active, okay. Makes sense. So we will... Tapu Fini's not gonna be really useful, I don't think. We'll put a Float Stone here. I don't want a Choice Band for the same reason. So I think I just put a Choice Band here, and we'll go for Sycamore. We could also put it on the Koko. I don't necessarily hate that either. We could get down another Trubbish to threaten Trashalanche, but they haven't used many items yet. It's just 5 actually. Yeah, I think we will just retreat. Yes, we'll retreat and go for the First Impression. Hitting 120. We do have Guzma plays for the next turn, so we can try to work something out with that. If he tries to run away or something, we could just see the Ice Path to get rid of the damage. I would understand that play. And then it would be great to top deck one of our 2 Acerolas that we know are in the deck still. But we're going to see a Water Energy go on to Tapu Koko, and just the Ice Path. I do agree with that. So now we don't have to necessarily play around it as much. We can Guzma knock out the Koko, Guzma knock out Jirachi. We could Guzma, DCE Choice Band, knock out Lele, but then this just gets knocked out pretty easily. I really wish we had found... I really wish we had found the... Acerola, but we didn't. We can't Lele for Acerola because of our own Garbotoxin. We could just Armor Press. If we Armor Press, it forces him to have a Choice Band, so I don't hate that, actually. Armor Press for 130, since he can't Ice Blade us anymore. Okay, I don't hate this. So we just go Choice Band. And do we in, or do we just kind of hold this hand and chill since we have a Guzma? Because if he tries to run away, we can Guzma bring it back. I do want to get another Wimpod down, but I believe our third one was prized. So I think we'll actually just hold this hand, and we'll go for Armor Press. This means he has to either Choice Band to knock us out, or Blizzard Edge to knock us out. And if he does that, then we just get a return knockout with a Tapu Lele. It looks like he might run away and try to just Flying Flip. Ice Blade, if he knocks... Yes, that will not knock out the active because of the Armor Press. So I really like that we did that. Now we could retreat, and first impression, we could retreat and hit him with Lele. 20, 40, 60, 80. Yes, that is enough. So I think I like that the best. We do get knocked out by a Flying Flip. So we could Guzma knock this out, but then he just knocks us out with Ice Blade. But I think we will go ahead and end. Do we want to Ultra Ball? I think we will go ahead and end this turn. The clock is getting mad at me this game, guys. I guess if anything, we do just knock him out with the active, actually. Because... Well, no, that means he could knock us out with Jirachi, so we don't want to do that. The clock is, like, really quick right now. I don't know why, but we'll go ahead and just Energy Drive. He can still Stardust us, but we do have a Guzma to get around that. And we get an Acerola, which is huge. So if he doesn't knock out the Golisopod on the bench... Well, he will Flying Flip, so never mind. But we do have Guzma to reset the Golisopod, potentially. Or Acerola, sorry. So Aqua Patch, going to come down onto the Ninetales. I don't like that the timer is like sped up. That must be something with a new update. But we're just going to see a Sycamore from my opponent. Another energy for the turn, so no Stardust, which is good. So we could Guzma smack the Ninetales. I really want to find a... Why is it doing that? I have thought for 10 seconds. This is something with a new update. This is not good. Alright, let's Guzma the Ninetales. I think we want to smack it regardless with something. Maybe just Flying Flip this turn. If we had a Choice Band, we could Flying Flip. That would be really good. We could Crossing Cut. 20, 40, 60, 80, 110, 150. This is going to make me mad the rest of the video, guys. We'll at least get down a Trubbish. I know our other Golisopod is prized. Our other Wimpod. Do we get rid of Lele and a Rainbow, or just double Lele? I think double Lele is okay. Because if he ends us, I want to have our Acerola still. I really don't want a Sycamore next turn, but we may need to. If he gets a... We'd have to retreat plus Guzma, so this is kind of playing around that as well, so we can't knock out Golisopod. Trying to protect that guy as much as we can. And we'll just Energy Drive. He can knock this out, but if he knocks this out with the active, that means that we are able to knock him out with Golisopod in turn. Gonna just put a DCE on, so we may just see the Blizzard Edge. Yep. Okay. So now I think we have to Sycamore this turn. Oh, that was a really good top deck, so we actually don't have to Sycamore, because we can knock him out with Trashalanche. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm getting, like, really thrown off by the clock. I feel like I have to play really... What is that? I was, like, putting something down. And I hear it, like, ticking in the background still. That's like a glitch or something that is still ticking. Can you guys hear that? This is really bugging me. We'll go ahead and Acerola this. Okay, there we go. It stopped ticking. We'll hold the Float Stone. We will retreat. And we will Trashalanche. Really bugging me, guys, if you can't tell. So we'll take the 2 prizes. We do get another Wimpod and a Sycamore. All good things. And Tapu Koko comes up for my opponent. We're going to just see probably Stardust to try to buy a turn. But if he does that, we can just knock it out. Oh, we actually can't knock it out because of the ability, sorry. And he's going to end. Okay, okay. So good thing we got the Sycamore there off the prizes. Gives us another out in the deck. We could have played down the Float Stone. I guess that would have made the most sense to just play down the Float Stone, but we do get a Acerola. Stardust. We can put down another Trubbish. We can... This is really bothering me, guys, if you can't tell. We'll go ahead and send up Koko. We'll click Done. We are resistant to metal, of course. Just going to retreat, and looks like they're just going to choose the Flying Flip. Which makes sense. Okay, Ultra Ball doesn't do much for us. We can get a Golisopod. Yeah, we just really need the top deck. We'll go ahead and go get the Golisopod, so we have... That's one card we can... One less card to draw that's not going to draw us cards. Or be an energy or something. I don't think we want to... Yeah, I guess there's really no reason not to just evolve. Our opponent knows the cards of our hand, theoretically. We'll hold the Garbodor just in case. They're, like, not thinking about it, but they know that our last card is a Garbodor. Or they should, at least. So we'll just pass... And they're just going to Flying Flip. So it's just going to come down to, can we top deck here? They will knock out... They have one more turn to knock out Garbodor. We'll go ahead and evolve this to prevent, like, Lysander Kukui. That's really driving me nuts, guys. Sorry, I know I've said it a couple times. So it looks like if you go to time once on your turn, that it's going to limit your time for the rest of the game. Which is really frustrating. And we still don't top deck anything. We have one more turn to get, even if we just get like a Grass Energy. Come on, Grass Energy. So this can happen sometimes. You just kind of dead draw at the end of the game. Acerola buys us one more turn. That's really gonna drive me nuts. At least one more turn. I think we send up Golisopod. It's gonna start doing that for the rest of the video, I know. Gonna get an Espeon EX, so if he has an energy, that does give him the game. Yeah, so we just kind of dead drew at the end of the game there after getting end to 2. But it happens sometimes. That is how things go. But we will try to see if we can redeem ourselves in another video, or another battle. Looks like our MVP was Lele, dealing 750 damage. Okay, this is really cool. This is the first time I'm seeing all these things. This is my opponent's damage dealt. Is this his total damage dealt? Yeah, I think so. Not total damage dealt, not just by the Tapu Koko. But we're going to have to try to play faster in the beginning of the game so that that clock doesn't go off every 20 seconds after thinking through an action. But I guess that's good practice for in real life, since you do technically only have 15 seconds to make an action. Good practice to just make sure you're playing quickly in real life. So, I don't know. CMG123 ABC here. Let's see what we're going up against. We'll go ahead and win the coin flip. Very nice. We'll choose to go first. So, I don't know. Maybe the clock put me on tilt a little bit in that game. I maybe could have done something differently, but we just really didn't draw anything off that end at the end of the game, which is what can happen sometimes. I guess I could have played the Float Stone down to make sure that's one less card I might draw that's dead. So that would have been probably ideal. And we'll go ahead and start Wimpod. So CMG123 ABC, we'll see what they have going for them. Okay, Magnezone, Pikachu EX Magnezone. We'll go ahead and get down another Wimpod. We're going to want to try to find a Trubbish this turn if we can. Should we even put a DCE on anything? I guess if anything, we do the active one. I guess it doesn't matter because we can always retreat into it. This is just so we could potentially armor press the next turn. We can go with this and grab a Trubbish, which is important. We'll get rid of the Fini. I don't see that being too useful. We could also just grab Koko so we can retreat into it, but I think the thing that makes the most sense is to just go get a Trubbish. Yeah, we'll get rid of Acerola. Alright, so we will go ahead and bench the Trubbish, and we'll pass onto my opponent's turn. No reason we're going to wimp out into anything. But, yeah, so the reason I attached the DC to the active is so that next turn we could get a Golisopod, Grass Energy, hit something for 100 with Crossing Cut, or 100 with Armor Press, or potentially 150, take a knockout on something like Pikachu with a Crossing Cut GX. But my opponent is just going to go Lele Wonder Tag, probably going to grab a Brigette. Yep. And this will probably get down 2 Magnemites, and maybe like a Raikou. Actually just going to go 1 Magnemite, Vulpix, and Remoraid. And going to retreat the Pikachu and go Beacon. Gonna go grab Octillery and a Magnezone, so they obviously have a rare candy in their hand. We'll go ahead and Choice Band the active, and we'll just go ahead and end after seeing what my opponent went for. We do find a Golisopod, no Grass Energy, however, and no Tool or Garbotoxin. So we can go ahead and evolve the active to maybe try to prevent a Lele knockout on Wimpod. And we'll just have to click done here, unfortunately. I don't know, I'm still feeling the pressure from that last game. I'm like trying to go quickly. But here comes an Ultra Ball. Might just grab the Octillery. Okay. They got rid of a Magnezone with that, so they must have Rare Candy Magnezone or some other way to get it. They must just have another Magnezone in their hand, I assume. So their last 2 cards are Magnezone, Magnezone Octillery. So they can go Lele for Skyla for a rare candy. Yep. So they were able to get the... Oh no, they have Rescue Stretcher. Okay, that's the same thing basically. So rare candy Magnezone comes out turn 2 for my opponent. I wonder if they'll be able to get the Pikachu EX knockout. That would be pretty unfortunate, not gonna lie. If they can knock us out with Pikachu EX here, but they have now played 6 trainers, which means with a Choice Band we can knock out the Pikachu with a Trashalanche, which would be huge. A good swing in the game. Unfortunately, okay, it looks like they won't get the knockout, thankfully, but we unfortunately were unable to get like Garbotoxin that turn, would have been big. So here's a tough choice. No, not really. We just attach to the active. And I think we just end. The beacon really didn't get much for them. We find another Trubbish, but unfortunately still unable to find a Garbotoxin Garbodor. We're already down our Heavy Ball. Go ahead and get all these guys in play. And we'll just Armor Press, take the knockout, and take a prize. Pikachu EX definitely still could come up and pretty easily take a knockout. The reason I didn't evolve into Trashalanche here is because I wanted to find Garbotoxin this turn. Unfortunately, I was unable to. Pikachu EX does come up, however. And if we can get a Choice Band, we will just be able to First Impression knock out the Pikachu. So Magnetic Circuit. Gonna get some more energies in play. Ooh, actually gonna go for maybe the Tapu Thunder GX. Wouldn't knock us out. Maybe they just want to attack with, yeah, Sky High Claws. Okay. Okay. So this means we can Crossing Cut, get a knockout. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll go and attach to the Golisopod. And we'll go Lele for Sycamore here. No reason to N, I don't think. No reason to... We could Guzma knock out Pikachu with Armor Press, but... And save our GX. Ooh, actually, I don't hate that necessarily. But we've already done this. Yeah, if we Guzma Pikachu... Yeah, but we really want to find Garbotoxin this turn. And we still can't find it, guys. Wow. We can, however, at least go for the Crossing Cut, take a knockout, but we are just getting really unlucky here. If we find Ultra Ball or Garbotoxin, we're just in like a really good position. We can't find it. So we get to take the knockout. We can still knock out the Pikachu next turn maybe with an Armor Press, Choice Banded Armor Press. If we top deck another Choice Band, we can knock it out with this one, but he actually goes for an N. Gonna put us at 3 cards. There's the Garbotoxin, what we need. The hero we need. Magnetic Circuit. Gonna just put energies on Lele. Magnemite comes down. Abyssal Hand will grab a couple more cards. And we just see a concession from my opponent. Alright, so there we go. Picking up at least one game in today's video. Golisopod doing 280 damage. And we'll grab a third game for today's video. And especially since we might get a... Yeah, after this next game, we'll get a Virizion EX. What I've always wanted is a Virizion EX. No, but we'll go ahead and grab another game, see if we can't find another W today. So, 1-1 so far in today's video. We'll see if we can improve on that and go to a winning record at least with the regionals winning Golisopod Garbodor deck. And yeah, this deck is definitely a threat, something you guys need to keep your eye out on. Definitely really good. So going up against a Psychic Colorless deck, this is probably going to be Espeon Garbodor, maybe Drampa Garbodor. And we do win the flip. So this could be someone maybe playing towards list, so this could be a rematch of the finals potentially. We do take a mulligan to start things off. We are going first, which is always good. So we'll see what we draw here off of our mulligan. Always looking to get that turn 1 Brigette if we can. We have it, but we don't really have much else of a follow-up. So I think we may just have to go for an N, unfortunately. And that'll put 3 trainers in the discard pile against a Garbodor deck. Which is not great. Already playing the first item. But we actually just top deck Tapu Lele. So that means we can go Lele, Wonder Tag for Brigette. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, and we still have Ultra Ball for N next turn. We'll go ahead and bridge it. We'll grab a Trubbish, Wimpod, and we prized Tapu Koko. That is unfortunate. So we just get triple Wimpod down, maybe? 2 Wimpod. Or 2 Wimpod, 2 Trubbish. I think that's fine. We'll go 2 Wimpod, 2 Trubbish. And we will go ahead and Wimp out to the Trubbish. We'll attach 1 Float Stone. We have a replacement. And we'll just go ahead and pass. On to my opponent's turn. We'll see what happens. They just open up with Raw Brigette, so they don't even have to Lele for it. Oh, what it would be like to be my opponent. So good top decks next turn. Grass Energy, N would probably be the best top deck actually, so that way we keep 0 items in our discard. Yeah, prizing Tapu Koko, definitely unfortunate. That's probably the best thing to retreat into with Wimp out turn 1. So we do see a Drampa for my opponent, so it could just be Drampa Garb, could also be a copy of Tord's list, since Tord did play Drampa and Espeon. It looks like my opponent might go for that turn 1 big wheel, and sure enough, it's looking that way, guys. Are we gonna see it? Could you see a Righteous Edge? They are just gonna Righteous Edge, actually. No big wheel. Saving it for later, maybe. We get a Choice Band, so we will go Golisopod. Put a Choice Band down. And I actually think we Ultra Ball away Float Stone Garbodor. We don't want to put another tool in the discard if we don't have to. And we will go Lele for N. It is, we could just Sycamore. That's 3 items in the discard, and then he could Field Blower, Choice Band. That's a lot of items already pretty early. He would only have 1 because we would play the Field Blower before Sycamore. Maybe Sycamore is fine. 3 items. 4, 5. That's 130. It's a lot of damage already. So I think because of that, because you always have to consider Field Blower as an option. If he had a dead hand, he would have gone for the big wheel. So we know he has something to work with. So we'll just go ahead and end. Do not find a energy, unfortunately. Get another Golisopod. I think we'll just attach to this guy. And we could have retreated and energy drived for 80, but this sets up a crossing cut play. And yeah, we'll just pass. Expecting Trubbish to likely go down, we could retreat into this Trubbish, but then that can give him a chance to set up since we're already down 2 Float Stones. Might be hard for us to draw into another one. So I like leaving the Trubbish active. If it goes down, it goes down. If it doesn't, we are able to retreat and get our first impression or an armor press or a crossing cut. But he will get the Field Blower, so he'll get 2 tools in the discard. So that's the 4 items there, why I didn't want to play another one. Because that's a lot. We're already at 4, which is really not that good. Like, we're already behind in the tool war. But we'll see what my opponent does go for. We do have an N in hand, so if they do choose to big wheel, we can just end that away. If they go for Righteous Edge, that's fine. They could go for Berserk and just knock out Trubbish. That forces us to find a Float Stone or a way to retreat something since we did prize our Tapu Koko. Espeon EX. I believe Tord played a 1/1 Espeon GX, so not sure if our opponent is playing that as well. Choice Band going to go to the active. Ultra Ball. Probably we'll just grab a Tapu Lele and go for something like an N or a... Ooh, actually choosing to Ultra Ball and just maybe go for Lele for Sycamore here. Okay. put 2 more items in the discard to do that. I probably would have just end if I was my opponent to keep items out of the discard, but we did already discard a Trash Lanch. Maybe they're assuming we're playing the winning list, so they're thinking Trash Lanch won't be that big of an issue. But our opponent probably plays 2 Trash Lanch, so we need to play around it a lot more than our opponent does. So Sycamore will get them a fresh hand of 7. And Berserk will come out. Okay. So if we get Choice Band, Grass Energy, we get a knockout. Worst case scenario, we Armor Press, and he can't KO this. Or First Impression, we top deck the energy, so he could go for Righteous Edge or something. That doesn't really get him much. I think we will just go for in. We really need to try to play around Trash Lanch as much as we can. No, what's it called, unfortunately? A Choice Band. But we get another Wimpod down, and we can just Armor Press. Next turn we can top deck Acerola maybe, we can, worst case scenario, just Float Stone Retreat into Golisopod and First Impression. And then we still have Sycamore, so we're still trying to make something happen, and he can max hit us for 110 at the moment. The most he can hit us for at the moment is 110. Unless he gets a Rainbow Energy or like a Po-Town or something like that. There's the Po-Town. Speak of the devil. And we'll see what else they get. If they played like Kukui, and they have a Pokemon plus Kukui, they get a knockout. But most Drampa Garbolists have not been playing Kukui to this point. So I'd be pretty surprised to see that. But yeah, whiffing the Choice Band is a little unfortunate, but we did in as opposed to Sycamore. If we Sycamore, maybe we hit it there. But looks like my opponent might just go with a Lele Energy Drive. They're gonna Guzma here. Bring up the Clean Golisopod and go into Drampa, it appears. We could just get a Float Stone though. Or we can just Float Stone Retreat. I guess they're just kind of banking that we don't have the Float Stone. And he's going to go for the big wheel here. Okay, interesting. We do get an Acerola. Not that it does much for us right now, but we can just kind of sit on it. So there's a Float Stone. We'll go ahead and put a Grass Energy on the active. And we will retreat and just go for Armor Press to take a knockout. We'll save the Acerola and just kind of hang out with this hand. So there's a couple prizes there. We get a Float Stone and a Trubbish. They're going to send up their own Trubbish. I don't think they really have any way to knock this out, even with another DC and a Choice Band. 2040, 6080, 12040. That's 170 with an Energy Drive, and then we can just Acerola, pick it all up, and they are not doing any damage then. Or near as much, I should say. So Choice Band is going to go onto the Trubbish down there. We weren't able to respond to the big wheel, but we were able to take a knockout at least. Looks like an Ultra Ball, so they could Trash Lanch here. They are hitting for 80, 110 with the Choice Band, which is good. But we just have such good numbers, we're just able to Acerola, pick that all back up, and immediately knock out the Trash Lanch with a Clean Golisopod. So we'll see what they go for. They do take 30 from the Po-Town as well, so we could even knock it out with Armor Press on the benched one, which would be really good. Or not, I don't even know if that's necessarily better, honestly, than just keeping another Grass in play. I think keeping another Grass in play would be a little better. And they're actually going to go for Hala. Really cool supporter option in the Drampa Garbolists now, since it just gets triggered after the Big Wheel, so I like that a lot. See if they can find an energy. They may go for just a Righteous Edge. And looks like that might be the route they take. Choice Band will mean they do a little bit more damage, but we get to Acerola and pick it all up, and then just go into another Golisopod. And we can even put a Grass Energy in play. I imagine that they will go for the Rainbow Energy as opposed to the DCE, but they might go for the DCE to force us to have, you'll have to excuse my chair, it's like squeaking a lot. I really need to get a new office chair. I've said that for a few weeks now, but Righteous Edge, let's see which one they get rid of. Probably the Rainbow. I would bet, no, the DC. I mean, I could see either one, so we will just Acerola, pick it all up. Try to deny the knockouts as much as we can. We'll go ahead and evolve here. Get the Grass. Do we put the Wimpod down? Or the Trubbish, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items. We have to find Rescue Stretcher if we want to attack with the Trubbish, so... We've got the 2 Golisopods. I guess we just put down the Trubbish. And we'll just hit First Impression 120. Excuse me, guys. So we'll see what they can do. They do have the damage on the bench, so they can Berserk hit us for a lot, but then we get to at least run away. They could Berserk knock this one out, but they'd have to Guzma... They'd have to have a Guzma to do that, so that would be really good if they could do that. And that's where maybe it would have been better to bench the Wimpod. I guess I should have benched the Wimpod for that reason. I don't really care if he Guzma knocks out Trubbish. Yeah. So maybe that's the reason it's better to bench the Wimpod. But we'll see what they're able to do. We'll see what they can do. Ooh, just a pass. Not even gonna Righteous Edge us. I guess they want to keep us from using Crossing Cut? Or keep us from... They're giving us the broken heart emojis. Maybe they just timed out. They're giving us the well played. It's not over yet, to say the least, but we're looking pretty good for sure. I think we'll just put a Float Stone on this Golisopod. No, I think we put it on Trubbish. And we just go Sycamore. Get rid of 3 Sycamores. We could have also just kind of hung out with that hand since we might get end. But I wanted to find some more stuff here. We can Field Blower away 2 tools back here. We can get Garbotoxin. I don't know if that really does much for us. We'll retreat and First Impression knockout. If anything, I guess we probably should have just held that hand and First Impression since we had 3 Sycamores. Getting rid of 3 Sycamores opens us up to getting end into nothing, which we saw happen last time. But this time we at least have energies with Golisopods in play, so maybe it's better. So we could get Field Blowered here. We have 4 items in the discard. 5 with the Field Blower, yep. So 6, 7. Yeah, he is going to end us. I don't know why they chose to pass, but they did. And we do find DCE Choice Band. So if we top deck Guzma, we can DCE Choice Band KO Espeon. Float Stone's going to go on to Garbotoxin, so no more abilities. And we see Trashalanche. Not going to do enough to knock us out. And we get a Rainbow. So we could DCE Crossing Cut into Trubbish. Yeah, I think that's fine. DCE Crossing Cut into Trubbish with the Float Stone, or the one with the energy on it. They do have a Field Blower left, and we are down to just one Float Stone left. Or no, we're actually out of Float Stone. So I think the safest play is honestly to go here, because if we get an energy, we can retreat. Because we only need to take one more knockout, right? So, or maybe we just Armor Press and knock it out. He takes 2 prizes. I think we just deny the prize. I think we Crossing Cut into Trub. This gives us the most outs, I think, if he does, like, try to stall us out. This just like is the smartest play, I think, because we can get energy to retreat, or if we go here and he gets his last Field Blower, we don't have a way to retreat that besides DCE. This gives us the out to Rescue Stretcher top deck as well. But my opponent's has been giving us the well played, so I'm thinking that means they really don't have anything. They'll get a knockout here, but and we actually can't win the game this turn. So we send this guy up. I think we just go. I think we hold DCs, and we just retreat and First Impression. I think we hold everything. If we had saved our Crossing Cut, that means we can knock out Lele. I guess this... But we're like still in a fine position. So I think the play of Crossing Cutting the Garbodor made the most sense. And I don't think there's really much my opponent can do to prevent us from winning next turn. I guess if they Guzma knock out Golisopod and get Field Blower, maybe? They're just going to run away, so... We gotta wait to top deck a Guzma or something, but they are just gonna Miraculous Shine, take at least one prize. We do get to Armor Press, the active. We do have to evolve under Potown, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If he has a Choice Band and a Psychic, they could actually win with Garbodor. So maybe we just hit him with the Lele Choice Bands, Lele. If he has last Field Blower, Choice Band... Well, he wins either way, right? If he has last Choice Band... Or if he has last Field Blower, last Choice Band, and a Psychic, he wins. Oh, but Armor Press. Armor Press lets us live, I think. So we just do that. Yeah. And then now Armor Press knocks everything out because the Garbodor evolved under Potown. Oh, and he wouldn't even win. Sorry, he has 3 prizes left. I was thinking because we had a Golisopod, but it was... Yeah, we're good. We're good. Should be good. We'll see. We should be good, though. Rescue Stretcher. Maybe see some Acid Spray plays come out. Nope, Drampa. Righteous Edge, maybe. So he's just trying to run away. This is basically until we top deck... Or wait, could we have just Guzma'd last turn? Am I, like, just really... I'm like out of it, guys. I'm sorry. I think we could have just Guzma'd last turn. If our last Lele's in the deck. But we can do that this turn, at least. Okay. Is our last... Let's Heavy Ball first to check. Yeah, last Lele. Okay, so we're not going to play the Garbotoxin. That's my mistake, guys. Someone was probably just yelling at the screen. Oh, he has Garbotoxin. Someone else was probably still just yelling at the screen. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's in. Rescue Stretcher. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Rescue Stretcher would have given us the game. And we'll just Armor Press. And we just played a lot more items. I think I might have just messed up because I forgot about his Garbotoxin. I'm just all over the place right now, guys. All over the place. But we'll see if we get punished for it, or if we lose because of it. If he doesn't have a Float Stone, he only has one left, or like Acerola or something, or DCE, we'll just win the game. So let's see it. What have they got? Psychic, so they can get rid of our thing. Righteous Edge. Yep. Gets rid of a energy. We get Field Blower. Doesn't do anything. This is ridiculous. Do we Acid Spray? I think we just Acid Spray. We don't flip heads, unfortunately, but if he just knocks us out, we do have energy next turn to just send something up retreat and then First Impression. So he will in. See what they're able to get off of the in. Acerola is what we get. So that gives us... Yeah, we just... If he doesn't retreat this, we just win. Okay. Righteous Edge. Okay, so we just win. Nice. We'll give him the well played. Because we just go retreat, and First Impression gives us the win. If they gotten like Field Blower, they needed like way too many cards for what they had left. So we get the W there. Once again, huge congrats to Mark on his regionals win. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. I will link it down below. And yeah, definitely check it out, guys. I think I should have just held that hand that I Sycamored away. 3 Sycamores. I don't really know what I was like looking for or anything. I should have just chilled. But, you know, it is what it is. You make mistakes. Sometimes you still end up okay. Well, like, we had, like, a decent enough board position where I felt okay, but I think I should have still just held it. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out some of my other videos that you see on the screen now. And that is going to do it for me. Until next time, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Take care.